Wake up, fuckers. Come on, you fuckers. Let's wake up together for fucking once. It's the come up. We're Trinity Infinity. It's Wake and Bake Wednesday. Let's fucking do it.
Kind of a dark fantasy.
Wow. This is the dark fantasy episode.
The one after that is called Sax Magic. I'm sorry, now I have to.
Now I think we need a song called Sax Magic where we bring in the sax.
Mayor's not a big fan.
Of the sax?
Oh man, do not air my laundry out.
No, it's not. I mean, look, when it's not used right, I don't tell Mayor's not a big fan. You know.
I'm not sure that's a saxophone.
This thing bullshits you. It's a total bullshit or plinky.
I used, it's so funny about it though, is like I used to love horns and like I used to love going, like that's most of the jazz shows, well, not most of them, but a lot of the jazz shows was just saxophone players I loved here and a couple of trumpet players that went to my high school that I loved. And I used to love it, and I've just gotten more into like orchestrating my own stuff and composition. Because I sent you guys when I first started dating you a song that was all horns and just voice.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah, I remember that one.
So it's not like I've always had an aversion to it. I get them, and I get why you use them and why they're good in certain text painting scenarios. I think I've just found that like maybe for whatever sound I'm trying to curate, it's not like the most conducive sometimes. I think my voice is abrasive enough, And the horn essentially too is just like such an extension too of voice. It's breath work.
Well,
breath work in an intense
Ghost
way.
Pipe's going to be a ska band whether you like it or not.
We're going to have horn players. We're going to have all the instruments, no discriminating. We'll have slide guitars, xylophone, theremin.
Let's wake and bake. I'm trying to get into this day, and we have this sativa weed, and I want to get my day started right.
You're trying to start the day, but all you can think about is the bong.
Yeah, why not?
You just gotta honor it.
Damn. That was a silky, milky hit.
We've been mainly smoking indicas for a year, and we're like, all right, we need to get some sativa play in this world. You're a little more limited when you're in New York,
So I haven't done anything for a year.
The sativa makes me feel like less high. You know what I mean? It's more just like, okay, cool, like on with the show. Or the indica's a little bit more like.
It's more creative too.
Yeah, it is more functional.
It's more conducive.
It makes me want to do stuff. It makes me want to talk about creative things and think about creative things. And yeah, I almost, like, I texted somebody yesterday. I was like, it feels like they're a different drug now that I've had it back in my life.
Yeah, right.
God, they affect me so differently. So yeah, very thankful to have spent all my money on sativa weed this
on
week.
some rapper weed. That's what they call it here.
Rapper weed
in New York. That's what they call it.
It's good. I love it. I love the fancy weed.
Yeah.
We've come a long way since water bottle bongs and,
oh, man.
having to wait 2 hours in the parking lot for your weed dealer and stuff. God, in Texas, it was so hard when I was younger.
God.
And because you were just at the whim, it's not like all the competition you have here where they're at our whim,
Yeah.
trying to give you the right price and rush around to meet you. It's like, no, you're like waiting in some fucking Bodang parking lot in some mall for
like a jackass.
That's what we're going to be talking about, us being in New Yorkers, when California has had legal weed for how long now?
Yeah.
And we're the fucking fools who are just sitting around here being like...
Waiting in a CVS parking lot for 2 hours to get a fucking eighth.
No, we always, the delivery people. It seems like that guy that came to my house last was kind of in a bad mood. And whenever I have delivery people over, I'm just being honest.
It's great.
I always try and make, I'm going to be their best customer today. Like, I'm going to make them laugh or whatever it is. Like, I just want to have a good experience when they come over, But he was such a hard nut to crack. He didn't laugh at any of my jokes. And I knew he was just like doing, in some world of his own. And I tried to not take it personally. But
how in that guy's mind was he not slowing down and realizing, like, this is a good situation? I'm in a beautiful woman's apartment. We've got a beautiful dog running around, She's trying to make me laugh. Let me just fucking show up.
You don't know. November was probably
Yeah,
Novembering
he was very
him.
Novembering to
Yeah,
him.
he was blind.
He had the horse blinders of the negative November on.
We used to, I feel like, have almost the exact opposite problem with delivery services, which is why we were like, we have to get out of this. We have to just start buying in bulk because, like, I can't deal with these people. They're like, oh, cool, I'm over at Sean and Cass's. This will be where I take my 45-minute break right now. It's a comfortable place. They're giving me water. They're talking to me. And I'm like, dude, get it. I don't even know your name, man. Like,
no, it's changed. It's because everything is so, like, there's so many delivery services now. I think it's very, like, people want to get in and out. And I know a couple of delivery people, which you make really good money doing that here.
Really?
Really good money.
In tips, or how are they making their money?
No, like, they get, like, $400 just for doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I guess some people do tip them or whatever. But I think a lot of times it's, like, uncomfortable, and especially in the, like, highly psychic climate we're now in, because a lot of them will talk about how uncomfortable it can be, and you usually do just want to get out of there as fast as you can, you know what I mean? But if you use companies too, and not just necessarily like weed dealer delivery people, because I think that's obviously like the Pineapple Express cliche, hilarious, like your weed dealer always wants to be friends with you, you know?
Yeah, totally.
But no, these people, they
one of our best friends was our weed dealer, started off as our weed dealer, and now he's a very famous photographer.
Yeah.
And you know how we found him? Because we didn't want to deal with these people anymore. So I just put out a note on Twitter. I was like, I need a reliable weed dealer. And someone DM'd me right away, like, here's your guy.
Yeah.
And at this point, he's been one of our oldest friends in the city. So.
Yep. Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, with your dealer being in a bad mood, or the guy who was delivering, it's just like, it's so, you don't know the situation. And I think that's what we like are coming to understand in life and how we relate to each other, is that, like, if you were in his situation, you think, oh, if I was delivering, I'd be in a good mood. But the thing is, I'm not saying you think that, but like generally, you can get to that situation where you're like, oh, I mean, if I was, because I've been reading the Eisenstein book that we're doing for book club, which the meeting is next weekend, and he talks a lot about situationalism versus disposition, and a lot of things that are situational we attribute to disposition, like, oh, if I was a CEO, I would pay my workers more, or if I was like this, I'd be in a better mood, or I'd be more generous in this way. And the truth is, we are so interconnected, and this life does follow certain rules that while you can think yourself better than someone else, you necessarily, if you had their life and had gone through all their experiences, you'd probably be doing the exact same things that they're doing, you know? And I think it's an important thing to keep in mind how interconnected we all are, and it's like been a good that reminder, because that's something I know is true, but to like as a release of judgments, because it's so easy to be like, oh, well, I know better, I wouldn't excessively consume heroin if I were them, or,
right,
you know?
Totally.
I think you're it sounds like what this guy's doing, and so like what we're always trying to do with all of our art is like mapping compassion and figuring out just new tools you could put in your tool belt for that. And I always try to apply it to, you know, the most extreme thing in our society is that we fucking imprison people in mass, and you know, people always want justice, and they want harsh, you know, this and that, doing the work of the carceral state. But I always just tell people, it's like, you might not think you're an abolitionist until you start thinking about the world as if that was you or your brother or sister, even if they've done the most heinous thing possible, you know. Think about how you'd want your brother or sister treated in that situation, or yourself.
Yeah, or understanding that there's like kind of a explanation, and we do this so well for like white men in our society.
We do it for rich people.
Rich people, but like, yeah, rich white men specifically, or young men, will be like, oh, well, he has affluenza, or he didn't know any better.
Boys being boys.
Boys being boys. You know, we do, and it's like, for me, I've always been like, we shouldn't be more harsh on those people. We should be more compassionate on everyone else. Like, that's, we should have that sort of humanism, but expand it more, not less, you know?
Yeah.
And another note from this, because I do like talking about it a little bit, is he talks about a study they did called the Good Samaritan study kind of thing, or do you know about this?
I feel like I've heard of this. He was behind that?
No, he didn't do it, but he references it, where basically they had taken these people who are, you know, in the, okay, I'm going to butcher the words, but they, are people who care about people. You know, they were in clergy or something like that, or studying to be
missionaries
or clergy or something.
Yeah.
Something of studying in that department of
social workers,
religion.
Okay.
Basically, it was
Okay.
a situation where they had people where they were like, okay, we're going to have you give a speech on the Good Samaritan, a presentation on the Good Samaritan story.
Yeah.
Which is the story of, how the priest walks by and whoever walks by, and ultimately the person who helped someone was the Samaritan.
Yeah.
And so they do this thing with these guys who are studying religion. And, where they told 30% of them or 33% of them, like, hey, you're late for your presentation. Like, you have to get to your presentation. You're already late. Like, go. And they have to go across campus and give this presentation. And they're like, you're already late. Like, get over there. And then they tell another percentage of them, like, hey, you have a few minutes, but you're going to be late if you don't leave now. Like, being like, okay, get over there, but you have a few minutes. And then the last people, they're like, oh, you should get over there, but you have plenty of time, so take your time over there. And the percentage of people who helped a person that they had put in the stairwell who's like moaning for help, and like, they set up a scenario where someone's moaning for help and like in a doorway of like where they're going to give this presentation on campus.
Yeah.
And it was only 10% of the people who thought that they were already late helped the guy, but 60% of the people who thought they had time helped the guy. So
holy shit.
So a lot.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I wish I didn't butcher this.
You
I'm
didn't
so
butcher it.
No, you
embarrassed.
didn't. It was good. It was
Okay.
great. Yeah. Very clear.
But it's basically, that situational, like they should have said it was
Right.
when the Good Samaritan story is like the story of Good Samaritan who had some time on his hands,
Right.
and it's like how we help people and when we help people and what makes someone a good person is like, there's so many things that we're running through our program that determine whether or not we think we're in a position to help someone or what is the most helpful thing in each time.
Right. Yeah. And a lot of times people's want to be a good Samaritan can make them a bad Samaritan. You know what I mean? Like when people are hurt and stuff, and like people want to get close and crowd around, and like a lot of times that just makes it worse. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. We can get like our wires crossed about what to do in situations.
Oh my God,
too.
I've seen it a million times. I've seen my sister Caitlin have seizures everywhere in the fucking you can imagine in every situation, and the things people either do or don't do are very telling.
Right.
Because
sometimes you're like I don't want to do the wrong thing, and like what am I going to do if somebody's having a seizure in public with me? You know what I mean? It's like I should probably give them space.
Yeah.
I'm what am I?
Yeah.
But
this study fascinates me though.
Yeah.
This really fascinates me because it proves something that I'm always trying to tell people, but it's like there's nothing to back it up. It's like there's nothing wrong with us.
Yeah.
Like the onus of all society's problems get put on us, the individual, and they do it in so many fucking disgusting, nefarious ways.
Yeah.
You're using too much water. There's a drought. You're using too much water. Like just little things. Like, unemployment's high. The immigrants are taking your jobs. Like just all this stuff that the ways of dividing us. But there's nothing wrong with us. We're just beholden to a system that doesn't allow us the time to bring our humanity online.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think that's what that proves to me.
Yeah.
Totally.
Something that's like kind
That's
of like
good.
been a sneaking suspicion. And the reason I can go towards in these films, like far out fringy, like people that are on the wrong side of the tracks type characters, and find humanity there and find something anyone can relate with there is because it's there. It's just lying dormant in all of us.
Right.
We're so fucking busy
Right.
trying to pay for our existence
Right.
that we can't look out for each other in any way.
Right.
Even if it's an extreme thing where someone's
Right.
screaming in a door, in a stairwell. Like, we have to ignore them to get on with the thing. We just don't have the time to... There's nothing wrong with us.
Yeah.
We just don't have the time.
Yeah, it's definitely increases your compassion for everyone and yourself. And it's kind of, bringing in more integrity into our life is just something that we all have to figure out for ourselves,
Yeah.
But it was an interesting study and an interesting, not surprising results at all. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. I wonder how many people they did it with too.
Man, that's
I hope
one
a
of
lot,
those.
because there's got to be so much difference too, just in the personality type, and would you help no matter what,
Well,
no matter what the
Yeah,
scenario.
like the 10% who helps no matter what. We should get into the psychology of them versus how they were raised based on or what they
Right.
went through in life experience. Oh,
Right.
they had a dad who was homeless at some point,
Right.
and they have a like built-in compassion for that
Right.
struggle, or
Right.
they slept in their car for 3 years
Yeah.
or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Inevitably, that's the case.
Yeah.
Too. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's the same gift that astrology has given me, is like understanding that we are the way we are for reasons
Right.
that we can't fully comprehend, because we
Yeah.
can't absorb all the data available
Right.
to us, and we don't even have access to all the data available that is out
Right.
there.
Totally. Totally.
Yeah, there used to be a show, it's probably still on, called What Would You Do, where they would film people with hidden cameras in these situations.
Yeah.
The show's
I forgot
fucked
about
up.
I was trying to because they had like a couple shows like that, it felt like, in the
Yeah.
90s,
Yeah.
where they were trying to like catch people and stuff, because there was like a cheating one too that
Oh,
was specific. Do you remember
Cheaters.
that one?
Cheaters.
Okay.
That one might have been fake. The
Okay.
What Would You Do thing was real, but it was just like fucked up, because the thing that they didn't do is exactly what Cass is describing. It's like the person that did the fucked up thing, instead of exposing them on national television, why don't we talk to them and find out why they ignored that kid who was getting pulled into a van,
Yeah.
fake,
Yeah.
or talk to the person about that helped them, is like, what led you there, that kind of thing. That's what that show ignored. It was just like, look at all these fucking assholes out here, look how much we can do people, but very revealing situations for sure.
Well, isn't even hearing that story now a data point, so that if you walk, you don't want to step over someone in a hallway because you're like, do I have time? I'm giving a presentation on the Good Samaritan thing. You know what I mean? Like, maybe this is the test, like when the king was like, giving you all seeds, and bring me the most beautiful flower, and whoever grows the most beautiful flower will be my next confidant and the next ruler of this land. And basically he gave everyone dead seeds, and everyone came with all these like beautiful flowers to present to him, and one person came and was like, I'm sorry, I did everything I could to try to grow this flower and I couldn't do it. And he was the next ruler of or next confidant.
Damn, that's integrity.
Yeah.
Cool.
The honesty.
Try a little honesty every now and then.
Yeah.
Yeah, you definitely can't hide.
Yeah.
You can run, but you can't hide. Not in this lifetime.
That's a good message to leave on. You can run, but you can't motherfucking hide, babies. Right, Mowgli? Cool. We'll see you tomorrow, y'all.
See you tomorrow.
Peace.